David, good to see you here today at ETG. Can you tell us a little bit about your relationship with the Engineering Technology Group and BLUM?
Yeah. Well, we're now a technical partner. We've been a technical partner with ETG for quite some time, really. We first probably started working with them maybe 5 years ago or something like that, where we were obviously putting standard probing systems on their machines. And that just developed. We were doing more and more complex work, and then the sort of creation of the technical partnership sort of evolved from that, really.
Would you say they're one of the biggest users of your products here in the UK?
Yes, yeah, they're traditionally one of our, they have been many years our best customer, but they're always within the sort of top 2 or 3 of our best UK customers.
And the machines that we've got behind us here, Hardinge, Bridgeport, Quasar machine, these are typically milling machines. We've got horizontals and verticals. I always like to go back to basics in a way, because some people don't use maybe tool measurement and part measurement. Yeah. Let's start with tool measurement. What's the advantages to implementing that on your machine?
Yeah, well, obviously the traditional way of setting your cutting tools off the machine and then either manually loading the tool data onto the control, or doing that through an automated process. You're measuring your tool off the machine in an unclamped situation and in a stationary position. What we advocate and what really our products are about, and particularly what we're kind of known for, is our laser systems called Laser Control NT. They are about measuring that tool on the machine dynamically, live, with the data, with the conditions that you're about to start to cut with. So if you were going to cut at 20,000 RPM, we would measure with the tool spinning at 20,000 RPM in the spindle.
Because some may argue that actually setting the tools off the machine saves time, means that the machine is cutting metal. Would you support that argument, or what would you say in relation to that?
I think with the laser system, you have big advantages because with a traditional touch type tool, you obviously can't rotate the part, so you don't get the advantages of being able to measure at the cutting speed with all the clamping conditions, so the flight circle of the spindle bearing run out. But people often talk to us, it's an argument that we have many times, that people will say it's a machine tool, it should be cutting metal, it's making money when it's cutting metal. But we're about trying to control the entire process to ensure that we make everything automated without any operator involvement, and it's done throughout the process that is controlling for breakage and wear. And with the laser system, we can measure in incredibly fast times.
It's improving as well, isn't it? Didn't you say to me earlier?
It is. We're kind of known as our standard Laser Control NT system, but we launched last year at EMO the newer version called the LC50 Digilog, so that dropped into our Digilog family of products, and typically there we are 60%, we can measure the tool for tool, like for like, 60% faster than we did on our traditional standard laser systems. So now measuring times are really very small on a machine.
And this type of machine here, how easy would the integration of that type of product be, a laser tool measuring system? Is it easy? Does it matter what control you've got?
No, we have software and integration systems for all the big name controls that we commonly see, certainly in the UK market. BLUM UK, we kind of specialise more on the retrofit market anyway, because obviously the OEM base isn't really here. So we are really probably more specialised within the BLUM group at retrofitting. So we can go onto many machines, to mills, turns, horizontals, verticals.
And how are sales? I mean, are things when I say improving, I don't mean that they were bad, but are you noticing a shift? Are people really looking towards automating their processes of tool setting?
Yeah, we've seen a big upturn. That last year was our record year for the UK subsidiary, and we're well on course to go further again this year, go higher again this year. But it is because I think the buzzword that everyone's talking about is Industry 4.0, and however you want to call that, everyone's looking now about controlling the process to make sure that every component that comes off the machine is a good component, and so controlling every aspect of the whole machining process in control. And
that takes us on to workpiece probing, because you were talking earlier about adaptive machining. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, well, what we're about, certainly with the new Digilog range of products, what we're really trying to concentrate is that the traditional way, the older way of where you would machine a component, then take it off onto a CMM or to some inspection equipment to actually identify if the part was a good part or not. Hopefully you don't scrap the part, which is disastrous, but if you find that there are errors within the part, then you have to bring it back to the machine tool, set it up, which can be complicated, can be impossible on some applications, and then remachine the component. What really we are about, and certainly what our Digilog products are about, is to ensure that what you produce is a good component. It's a known good component, so when it comes off the machine it can go to the next operation or out the door or whatever that may be. So it's really what we say is we want to measure the component in the machine, we want to make adjustments to the process and to cut it live still on the machine, so it's an adaptive solution that's always looking, correcting and adjusting itself.
Pretty impressive. We've spoken about milling. What about turning? For those that might just know BLUM as a supplier of, like we've said, workpiece probes and also your tool setting probes on milling. What about turning?
Yeah, we are known as milling. I think for many years we've probably done more products or had more products on the milling side of things. But we kind of moved onto the turning side of things with the adoption of the mill turn technology that came in quite a few years ago. So a lot of our products then started to become like a hybrid type system for measuring milling and turning on the machine. And now we kind of also have the solutions that get us into the turning applications as well.
Because you've been here today at ETG talking to Steve Brown specifically about Nakamura machines, which we've got the NTRX 300 over there. Is that something that you would use your products on, a machine? Is that a typical example of a mill turn?
Yes, yeah. Really, we have combined systems. So the laser system that was developed for milling applications, on a mill turn machine or on a turning machine, still the better way to actually measure a turning tool is with a traditional tactile tool probe. But what you don't want is two systems. You don't want two separate systems, one measuring milling tools, one measuring turning tools. So we then took our standard Laser Control NT and we generated a new product called Laser Control NTH 3D, which was a combined system of a laser with an integrated tactile probe. So you can measure both milling and turning tools, but all with only one unit.
Because the turning tools in the ATC then would be measured using that system on the turret. Is that how it would work?
Yes, yeah, exactly. Particularly with the Nakamura machine that we've got here, they can install it in many different ways really. It depends on the model and the setup of the machine. Sometimes even we can use extension units and linear units, so we can actually tuck the unit well out of the way and extend it into the work area for the measurement and then back out. The better solution is always to try and integrate it within, that you're not swiveling it in and out of the machine.
So what we're saying here is BLUM capable of providing solutions not just on milling, but progressively on turning too now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, across the board we have a range of products for all machines. Yeah.